about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Monday, 9:43 a.m., and the Cubs had just won a pair from the Dodgers. The Rams had lost in Orange County, and I got some new socks from Banana Republic. But something was missing. My partner, Kate Mundy, who works the day watch out of MathNet, was laid up with a bad knee. She'd torn some ligaments in it, and her leg was in a cast. She was at home recuperating. My name is Franklin. I'm a mathematician. A lonely mathematician. Luckily, things had been rather quiet crime-wise since Kate had been out. In fact, the only case I was working on at the moment was hardly a case at all. More like a six-pack. There had been a series of vandalisms at a handful of banks in the valley. Nothing was taken. No one was hurt, and I couldn't figure a motive. Bank pranks is what I had dubbed them. No large shuffling of pasteboards. You know, no big deal. MathNet, frankly. Who? Oh, Kate. I thought you said wait. Golly, Kate, you're a sight for sore eyes. Oh, not much. Just going through the mail. Doesn't seem to be much. How's your knee?
My knee itches, George.
That means it's healing, Kate.
I mean, it's itching, George.
How was your weekend?
Believe it or not, I didn't do much.
I did. Martha and I went to a party.
Uh-huh.
Had a ball. I won first prize.
It was a costume party?
Yes, and I didn't know it till I got there.
You won first prize at a costume party without dressing up? What did you win for?
TV game show host. You need anything? Magazines, candy, model airplanes?
Model airplanes?
My mom always bought me model airplanes when I was sick.
I'm not sick, George. I have a bum knee.
And you still won't tell your old pard how it happened, huh, Kate?
No. It does. Please stop asking.
Okay. Don't get so touchy. Listen, I've got to get to work. Can't afford to lie around all day like some people I know.
George, I'll have you know.
I'll talk to you real soon. Don't take any wooden nickels.
Goodbye, George.
Gee, I wish Kate were here. We could play What Do We Know? Well, can't cry over spilled partners. I'll play What Do I Know? All right, George. What do I know? I'm glad I asked me that question. As I know that 5 banks in the past few days have been pranked. Pranked, you say? What does that mean? It means simply this, me. This pin represents the first bank. About 10 in the a.m., the alarm system went off and drove everyone out of the building. This is the second bank prank. Someone put sulfur in the air conditioning system, and it sprayed rotten egg gas and drove about 50 customers and employees out of the bank. But again, no money was stolen. At this bank, someone cut the power and the computers went out so they couldn't do any business. You know something, me? I like it better when Kate is here. Because when she's here, I don't have to talk out loud to myself.
I was wondering who you were speaking with, George.
I didn't know you were here. I was just...
Uh-huh. How is Kate, George?
Not too good, Debbie. She sprained her knee.
I know that, George. How's she feeling today?
I think she's getting cabin fever. You know, tired of being cooped up. She's as jumpy as a puppet on a string.
You working on the bank pranks, George?
Uh-huh. I was looking for patterns. 5 banks have been pranked, and I don't get it.
But the customers did.
True. Here, the alarm system went haywire. Here, rotten egg gas. Power outage. The locks got stuck and no one could get out. The computers.
Pretty sensitive.
I'll say.
I put together some information for you. You know, time of day, location, assets, type of bank, whether they validate.
Thanks, Debbie. Mathnet, frankly. A what? Sure. I think I'll start you out with an easy one. Piper Cub.
Did your Piper give birth?
That was Kate. She wants a model airplane. She is a pretty bored mathematician.
I'll crunch a few more numbers on the bank prank case. Say hello to Kate.
Hello, Kate.
When you see her, George.
I sure will, Debbie.
George? Hi, George.
Hi, Kate.
Come on out. The door's open. Hi, Mrs. Selkirk.
Hello, Kate. How are you feeling?
Getting better. Thanks.
Oh, that's good. Yo, Kate, I'm on the way to the market. You need anything?
No, Ambrose. Thanks for asking.
Could you get me some cat food? Oh, sure. No, oh, that's nice.
Come in.
Hi, Kate. It's nice to see you.
Hi, Park. How are things at the shop?
Fine. Brought you some flowers.
In a file folder?
Oh, here.
They're lovely. What are they?
Flowers? You've got a great pard, Pat. I mean, Pat, pardon.
Thanks, George.
Your mom and dad? Or is it a furnished apartment? Oh, I almost forgot. Here is the model plane.
It's a beaut.
You'll love it when it's built. You can either fly it or hang it up in your room. Mine's in my room.
Sit down, George. Oh, before you do, maybe you could put these in some water.
With these flowers?
There's a vase in the kitchen.
Sure thing. You aren't missing much at Massnet HQ. You know, headquarters. It's as dead as the La Brea tar pits in March.
George, you have no idea how much I've missed you.
Sorry, Kate. Did you get a new lens?
Mm-hmm. The new telephoto zoom lens. When you turn this, it makes things look 3 times closer.
Be careful with that, you clumsy person.
What's that?
That's delicate electronic equipment. If you broke any of it, you're going to pay your budget, dear.
Just another one of my neighbors. I've certainly got to see a lot more of them since I've been laid up. I call him Mr. Cuckoo.
He's nuts?
Nuts about clocks. Must have 50 of them. What's this, George?
Some info that Debbie got out of her DB. You know, database. About the bank pranks. I haven't had a chance to go over it yet.
Still no idea as to why anyone would trash these banks.
Nope. Wish I'd get more excited about it, but there's hardly been any crime committed, you know?
Yes, but nevertheless. George, are these banks listed in the order in which they were pranked?
Well, these are listed alphabetically. Why?
Maybe there's a pattern in the sequence.
Well, the first one was the last national bank.
Uh-huh.
The next was, let me see, the average national bank.
Go on.
The third was the calendar national, and...
Let me try. The fourth was Plummer's Savings and Loan, and the fifth was next to the last national bank.
That's right. How did you figure that out?
Look at this. Look at the assets. The first has around 10 million. The second in the 20 millions, the third in the 30s, and so on.
But what does that tell us? Nobody took anything.
Hello? Oh, hi, Debbie. I'm a little better. It itches. How about you? That's good. He's right here. Debbie wants you.
Hi, Debbie. This is Franklin, MathNet. Bernie Woodward? The reporter who works for the Post, sure. Oh, really? 11:30? What? Another bank?
Another bank prank?
What did they do?
Ask her about the assets. Ask her about the assets.
I see. Hold on a minute, Debbie. Kate, somebody set up a fire alarm sprinkler system at Farmers Trustee Bank.
Ask her about the assets.
Is that clock right?
No, it's been broken for months. It's 11 o'clock. Ask her about the assets.
Tell Woodward I'll be there, Debbie. Kate wants to know what assets the Farmers Trustee Bank has. 64,593,008. Thanks.
George, it fits my pattern.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Monday, after breakfast, and a tractor-trailer truck had jackknifed on the Hollywood freeway, spilling its load of jackknives all over Tinseltown. Traffic was at a standstill due to flat tires. I was working the day watch out of MathNet. My partner, who usually has to do this, was laid up with a bad knee which had been put in a cast. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My name is Franklin. I'm a mathematician. Uh-oh. I'd been working on a series of pranks someone was pulling on a number of local banks. No money was taken and no one was hurt. Just a little embarrassed. Usually, Kate and I look at scenes from previous episodes to refresh our memories. But Kate knows how to do that, and I don't. Well, I rely on my memory and a little note jotting. Sketching out what you know about a problem is a good way to solve it. I plotted the location of the 5 banks to see if there was some geographical pattern, but NG, no good. I look for a pattern in the kinds of pranks because patterns are the essence of mathematics. Again, NG, they seemed unrelated. Get green peppers for meatloaf. I'll do that in Thursday's episode. Then my good old pard, broken wheel and all, found a pattern. She noticed that the first bank had assets about $10 million. The second had assets in the 20 millions, the third in the 30s, and so on. It was a pattern, but it didn't seem to mean much on the face of it. Then Debbie called me at Kate's and told me that a sixth bank had been pranked. Again, no money gone. Just a practical joke that sent off the fire alarm sprinkler system and got the customers all wet. That brings us up to date. And it looks like there's a lot more work ahead. A famous investigative reporter named Bernie Woodward had called me and said he might have some information that could shed some light on the bank pranks. I arranged to meet him at his newspaper.
Yeah. Mr. Franklin?
Right.
Park it there.
Thank you, Mr. Woodward. Your message said you might be able to help me with these bank pranks.
Bank pranks. You know, I like a man who can crack foxy. Mind if I use that in the paper?
Bank pranks? No, I coined it, and I'd be honored.
Done. Mr. Franklin, this is a poem that I received.
There once was a bank named Last National that installed an alarm, which is rational. It went off with a roar. People ran out the door. What a bad place to trust with your cash and all. It's nice. It's got a good meter. Scans well. Keeps up rhythmic suspense till the end. Mr. Woodward, I don't know what this poem means.
I received it just after the first bank prank. Didn't think anything of it. Top flight investigative reporters like yours truly are always getting weird things in the mail.
Uh-huh.
But then, I got this one, Mr. Franklin.
Another poem?
Mm-hmm.
A disaster that won't be forgotten was a bank and some eggs that were rotten. The average bank smell made the customers yell and stuff up their noses with cotton.
Remember the average bank, the prank there? Someone burned sulfur in the air conditioning system?
Right, gave off the smell of rotten eggs.
Right.
Have you received any more?
Yes, I got one after each prank. But I still didn't put them together.
I see.
Top-notch, in-depth reporters, like yours truly, are usually busy on other stories. But here's one that I got today. And that's when I decided to call MathNet. Maybe you can prevent another prank.
Farmer's Bank is a place with a sprinkler. It'll put out a fire in a twinkler, but it got people wet, made them fume, made them fret, and withdraw all their cash in a winkler.
I think you ought to get over to Farmer's Bank right away and let those people know.
Too late. Their sprinkler system went off about an hour ago. Mr. Woodward, please, let me know if you get any more of these.
I will. Investigative reporters are very responsible journalists, Mr. Frank.
May I take these?
Yeah, sure thing. Here are the others.
Kate called. 12:35, Kate called. 12:40, Kate called.
George, Kate called.
She sure did. A lot.
She asked me to get a list of banks with assets between $70 and $80 million. She says she has an idea about a pattern.
I know. I think she's off on a wild chicken chase.
Chicken chase.
Or pigeon chase, or ducks, or...
Wild goose chase.
Kate's line is busy.
Well, when you do talk to her, give her this list, okay?
Sure thing, Debbie. MathNet, Kate, I was just trying to call you, but your line was busy. Yeah, I guess you were trying to call. Yes, I got your message. I got about 500 messages. What's up? What's up? Are you okay?
George, I just know I've got something in this pattern sequence.
Okay, Kate. But I've got sort of a pattern, too. Poems.
George, I'm serious. I've asked Debbie to compile.
I've got the figures right here.
What are they, George? Shoot.
Well, let's see. There are more than 1,400 banks and savings institutions in the greater Los Angeles area.
George, I don't need the history of the Los Angeles financial community. How many banks have assets between $70 and $80 million?
Right. According to these figures, there are 247 of them. Is that what you want?
George, you've got to stake them out. That's where the next prank will happen.
Stake out 247 banks? That's a little impractical, don't you think?
Well, then, you've got to call all the managers.
And tell them what? Watch out, Mr. Bank Manager. Somebody may put rotten egg gas in your air conditioner, or turn on your sprinklers, or soap your windows.
George, I'm serious.
Yes. And you're tired of being laid up. I understand that.
George.
Kate, I'll come by later and we'll start building your model plane. Won't that be fun?
But George...
Kate, try and get some rest. Think of this as a forced vacation. Enjoy. Enjoy. Talk to you later. I gave Kate the figures, Debbie.
Thanks, George. I may have found something interesting.
I hope so. I could use something interesting about now.
6 banks have been pranked, right?
Yep.
I've culled some data about them.
What are we looking at?
A possible motive, I think. Here are the 6 banks. The first one,
Uh-huh.
daily deposits are down 18% on the average since the alarm system got stuck and scared the customers. After the rotten egg gas went through the air conditioning system, deposits went down 31%.
That's almost a third, business-wise.
And it goes on. Off 26%, down 24%, minus 17%, 19%.
After each bank got trashed, their business took a nosedive.
If someone is out to hurt these banks, they're succeeding.
But who would want to hurt a bank?
Right. Williams. Who? I'll tell him, Sam. George, Bernie Woodward is outside. Says he's got a poem.
You know what that means? I bet there's been another bank prank.
Mathnet Williams. What?
Mathnet, frankly. Oh, hi, Kate. Are you sure? I'll be right there.
George, another bank has been pranked.
But no time for that now, Debbie.
What?
Tell Sam and Steve to meet me at Kate's apartment. Her neighbor has a bomb.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was still Monday, 5:43 p.m., and air traffic over the greater Los Angeles area was at a standstill. My partner, Kate Monday, was incapacitated with a broken wheel. Her left knee had gone flat and was in a cast. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My name is Franklin. I'm a mathematician. We'd been working on a strange case that involved a bunch of pranks that were being played on banks. I decided to rethink the problem so I get my head around it. When trying to solve a problem, it's always a good idea to get your head around it. That way it's surrounded on all sides. Except the top, where the hair is. I like to make notes when I'm trying to solve a problem. I think I mentioned that yesterday. But I spend a lot of time in my car where I can't do it. Lately, I've taken to recording my thoughts on a tape recorder. 6 banks have been pranked. No money stolen from them. Just a bunch of practical jokes that kind of made the customers mad. I don't blame them, boy. I can't find any meaningful patterns in the case. But how about the information from Bernie Woodward? He's the newsie who told me he'd been getting poems about each of the bank thefts. He guessed the prankster wanted publicity, but so far he hasn't printed anything. Kate is still working on her pattern theory. She noticed that the first bank had assets of about $10 million. The second was in the 20s. The third was in the 30s, and so forth. Each succeeding bank that was pranked had an increase in assets of about $10 million. So what? Debbie and I figured out that the banks were all losing business after they were trashed, and we thought maybe that was a motive. But then, a very bizarre happenstance happened. Kate called and told us her neighbor had a bomb. Sam and Steve and I rolled. Open up in the name of mathematics!
It's open, George. Am I ever glad to see you guys?
Kate! Feel better, Kate?
A little. In fact, a lot. Now that you're here. You know Mr. Cuckoo George?
Your neighbor, yes?
I saw him with 2 sticks of dynamite. He's building a bomb and he's going to blow something up.
How do you know he's going to blow something up?
Why else would he build a bomb? George, you've got to arrest him.
Slow down, Kate. Where is the dynamite?
In his apartment. He has 2 sticks.
That doesn't look like a bomb to me. It looks like a clock.
George, I know dynamite when I see it. Steve, you better call a bomb squad. Sam, evacuate the adjacent apartments.
Wait a minute. You can't do this sort of thing.
George, he has a bomb. It could go off. We all could be killed.
Are those the dynamite sticks, Kate?
Yes? No. I'm not sure.
Your neighbor is hanging counterweights in his clock, not dynamite.
It was dynamite. I know it was dynamite.
You've been under a lot of strain, Kate.
George, I will not have you patronizing me. Hello? Oh, hello, Debbie. I'm all right, I guess. Here he is.
Hi, Debbie. Really? Another poem? I'll check it out. See you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, what were the assets? She hung up. There was another bank prank this afternoon. Somebody broke the thermostat, and the temperature went up to 115 degrees at the Alien Savings and Trust. It was like a sauna bath. Everybody left. I don't know what the assets were, but I'll call you as soon as I find out.
Thanks very much.
Bye, Kate. See you later, Kate. Get some rest, will you? After a good night's sleep, I hoped Tuesday would dawn nicely. It didn't. Mr. Beasley, my right-side neighbor, started to mow his lawn at 4 a.m. So I didn't get a good night's sleep, and the weather was overcast. Ah, the latest poetic masterpiece. Looks like all the rest. The Alien Savings and Trust is a building all covered with rust. Those fools who were in it lost dough in a minute, and all the depositors cussed. Wonderful. But it still doesn't help. Who is this person, and why is he doing this? 7 pranks, 7 poems. MathNet, frankly. Hello? Oh, good morning, Kate.
Hi, George. I wondered if you'd checked on the assets at that last bank.
No, but I will. Let's see. Alien Savings and Trust assets. $73,854,119.
The pattern still works.
Uh-huh, sure does. But it still doesn't tell us anything. Did you get some sleep last night, Pard?
As a matter of fact, I didn't.
Well, maybe you can snooze this morning.
I'm fine. You'll be happy to know your airplane is fine, too. Thanks for the info.
Look at this, George.
What's that? What's this line mean?
This represents the number of accounts at the bank for the past 10 days.
Well, business looks good. They seem to be adding new depositors every day.
That's right. But look what happened after Alien Savings was pranked.
Boy, a lot of people left, huh?
Yes, and they took their money with them. About $1.76 million.
Well, that's more than I've got.
Me too. But it's still about an 8% decrease in business. And that happened in the 2 hours before the bank closed.
Debbie, can you find out where the people who are taking money out of these banks are putting it? Maybe a competitive bank is trying to drive them out of business.
I'll see what I can do.
MathNet, frankly. Oh, hello, Mr. Woodward. Yes, I got the latest poem. Not much help, I'm afraid. I wish he would send them before he vandalizes the banks. Okay, I'll be in touch. Wait a minute. This is a poem about the first prank, and it was written on a withdrawal slip from the second bank. Just a gosh darn minute. Here's the second one, written on a slip from the third. Here's the third, written on a slip from the fourth. Now that's a pattern. Why didn't I notice that before? The last prank was written on a withdrawal slip from the Safe Enough Savings Bank. Safe Enough. You're next. Tomorrow, when you open, I'll be there.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Wednesday, 9:44 a.m., and I was a little late getting to the shop because Frank's Freeway Fruits, the only stand on the Pasadena Freeway, was having a heck of a sale. I was working the day watch out of MathNet. My partner is Kate Monday, presently at home with a bad wheel. You know, bum leg. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My name is Franklin. I'm a mathematician. What started out as a quiet week, criminal activity-wise, had gotten up to full steam very quickly. The number of bank pranks had happened recently in my jurisdiction. Well, actually, they turned out to be more than pranks. 7 banks had been vandalized. No money was stolen. No one hurt. But the banks involved had lost depositors and therefore lost money. It was a serious situation. When solving serious problems, it's a good idea to review what you know and what you don't know. It's also a good idea to double back produce. Mathnet, frankly. Oh, hi. I was just thinking about you. Another call. Let me put you on hold. Mathnet, frankly. Oh, hello, Kate. What's up? Busy? I'm as busy as a one-armed paper hanger with the itch, Kate. Yes, Kate. I know you think you found a pattern. Uh-huh. The first one had more than 10 million in assets. The second one had more than 20 million. The third more than 30, and so on. I know that, Kate, but I don't think that's significant. Can you hold a minute? Hi. Can I call you back? Well, okay. I'm on the other line with Kate. I'll put you on. Okay. Yeah, Kate. Pardon me? Yes, I've been working on the poems that Franks has been sending to Bernie Woodward, the high-powered and not so very well-liked investigative reporter. And I think I figured something out. Can you hold? Are you still there? Just a second, okay? What was that, Kate? Yes, Debbie and I figured deposits were down. How much, Debbie?
22.5% on average, Mr. Frank.
22.5%. Maybe that's the motive. What do you mean, how did we arrive at that? We simply added up the percentage of business that each of the 6 banks lost and divided by 6 to get the average. Right. I might be farther along on this case if I didn't have to keep running out to your place diffusing clocks. Just kidding, Kate. Cry-eye. Hold on a minute. I'm afraid I'm going to be a minute, honey. What? Yes, I got the green peppers and the meatloaf. See you tonight. Hi, Kate. What? Looking for patterns? Of course I am. And I have. Look at this, Debbie.
What have you got?
Look, this is the first poem. What is it written on?
A withdrawal slip from a bank, so what?
So what? It's written on a withdrawal slip from the second bank.
You're right.
And this is the poem about the second prank, and it's written on a withdrawal slip from the third bank.
Now, that's a pattern.
Kate, look, we found a pattern. Each poem was written on a slip from the next one to be pranked. Sure, I'm sure.
The last poem is written on a withdrawal slip from Safe Enough Savings Bank.
Kate, I'll call you later. I got to see a man about a prank.
But, George,
I know.
why is he doing that?
That's what I aim to find out. I'm going to stake out the Safe Enough bank. When our prankster comes in, I'll nab him by the whoopee cushion.
What if he recognizes you?
No way. I'll be in disguise.
Regular customers only.
Excuse me. Mr. Franklin, Safe Enough Savings. How may I serve you? You lost your job, so you'd like to borrow some money? I'm sorry. If you haven't got a job, we can't lend you any money. How's that? If you had a job, you wouldn't need any money. Just another little banking paradox. Oh, now then, where were we?
You were telling me how I was going to make money by giving it to you?
Well, not to me personally, to the bank. Our bank pays 6% interest on your money.
Interest? What's interest?
Well, that's money we pay you, a sum we give you for letting us use your money.
You actually pay me?
That's right, 6%. That means for every $100 you save in our bank, we'll pay you $6.
So, if I have $1,000 in your bank, you'll pay me?
6% of 1,000 is 60. We'll pay you $60.
You're on? Here's $1,000.
I'll open a savings account for you.
Not so fast, Scott Rock. Where's my 60 beans?
Pardon?
Where's my 60 smacks? My 60 simoleons.
You don't get it now. We pay 6% interest per year. At the end of 1 year, we'll pay you $50.
You mean I have to leave my bread with you for a whole year?
Afraid so.
No way, Jose. I'll need it at the track tomorrow.
I recognize that from MathNet 101. It's nitrous oxide, better known as laughing gas.
Here, take the money. You don't even need to pay me interest.
No, it's not fair. We'll pay you 100% daily interest, compounded hourly, and payable last week.
$100 out of your Here, take a thousand. I don't need to spend it and enjoy myself. I'm telling you, you have to but I won't enjoy it.
You're not going to foreclose on you, Mr. Monroe. We decided that you can have your house free and clear. Oh, don't mention it. This is crazy. Somebody set up a laughing gas bomb in his wastebasket. But I was here all the time. Nobody came near the wastebasket. Oh, I'll be doggone. Somebody hooked it up to a clock. They could have left it here yesterday. I'll have the lab check it. That's what it looked like to me, Deb. But can you check it out?
Sure thing. Kate called, George.
Just once? Boy, I'll be glad when she gets back on her foot again.
George, I went through the annual reports of the banks that have been pranked, and guess what I found?
I'm sorry. That darn gas stays with you. What?
It was just a hunch, but I discovered that all those small independent banks are all owned by one company.
Really? One of those big conglomerates?
Right. And that company is owned by this man.
A Holding Co. I've heard of them.
I thought you might want to talk to him. That's his address.
1313 Fiduciary Road, Bel Air. Pretty swanky name. You have to go through gates before you get to the gates you have to go through.
MathNet Williams. Oh, hi, Kate.
I'm not here.
No, not much is new since your last call. No, George says he's not here. What I mean is, he said he's on his way to your place. A what? I see. Well, stay low.
Now what?
You better get on your way, George. She spotted another bomb, and this one's plastic.
Great. A plastic bomb. You can leave it out in the rain. It won't rust. A plastic bomb this time, Pard?
Yes, George, he's molding a bomb out of plastique.
Plastique? That's a plastic explosive, all right.
I watched him working with it right on that table. You've got to arrest him.
Kate.
All right, all right. But at least go over there and look around the place.
On what pretext? Excuse me, sir? A friend of mine says you're making a plastic bomb and she'd like you to stop.
I knew you were going to say that. See that clock?
Hello, sir. My name is George Franklin from across the way. A friend suggested I bring this to you. She said she knew you loved clocks and perhaps you could fix it when you have a chance. She'd be glad to pay for it.
Well, I'd be glad to do it.
Your clocks are beautiful, Mr.
Sticker, Raymond Sticker. And thank you, Miss Franklin. I've always loved clocks.
George, be careful.
Oh, be careful.
You know what you mean. We wouldn't want this stuff to go off, would we? Off? Well, go off or go on or whatever this stuff is does.
Oh, that's something play. I didn't want you to warm it with your body, that I need it for my work. Yes.
George.
Very nice.
Thank you. It's a surprise. For a friend.
Well, thank you for this again. Kate?
George, what did you learn? What's he going to do with the bomb?
Kaboom.
George,
It's modeling clay, Kate. He's a sculptor. I've got to run along and interview a man about some banks. I'll be in touch.
George, I'm sorry. I really am. I guess you're right. I'm downright uptight.
Try and get some rest.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Thursday, 9:43 a.m., and the sheets of rain which had blanketed the L.A. area had been hung out to dry. I was working the day watch out of Masthead. My partner is Kate Monday, who was laid up with a bad knee and pretty cranky about being out of the mainstream, current-wise. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My name is Franklin. I'm a mathematician. A series of pranks had been ongoing at area savings institutions, and I'd been trying to puzzle through to an answer as to who was playing them and why. No money was stolen. No one was hurt. They were just pranks, which interrupted the flow of business. 8 banks had been pranked, and we learned that they were all owned by one man, A. Holding Co. I decided to pay him a visit. Thank you for seeing me, sir. And may I say you certainly do look familiar to me. Could we have met?
I presume it's possible, but I don't recall.
Did you used to manage Art's Deli Rats in the Studio City Little League?
No. You said you wanted to talk about my banks.
Yes, sir. Specifically the 8 that have recently been pranked. Any idea who would want to do this to you?
No, and I've combed our records.
Any disgruntled employees?
Yes, the bankers always have. Disgruntled employees.
Even gruntled employees, I'll bet. How about any past customers who might be ticked?
We can't find a thing. But if you do, I would most appreciate a call. And now I'm afraid I must away to attend a celebration.
Oh, really?
And guess we're having a do for my very first savings institution.
Co's, the feeling is mutual savings. Is that the place on La Cienega?
That's right. Of course, since A Holding Co. became a holding company, we dropped the surname. Please stay in touch, Mr. Franklin.
I will. I swear I've met you. Do you go to the drive-in movies in the Valley?
Never. Good day.
Morning, George.
Hi, Debbie. Kate call?
As a matter of fact, no. Bernie Woodward is here to see you.
I'll take it from here, sweetheart. I got another poem, and it's a doozy.
Another poem? Has there been another pranking?
No.
Let's see the poem. This poem I vow is my last. The time for bank pranking is past. I'm tired of holding and mutuals folding. There will be an incredible explosion. Have a nice day.
Strange, huh?
Yes. When did you get this, Bernie?
I don't know. I haven't got a watch. About an hour ago.
Whoever is doing this seems to have broken the pattern.
Several of them. The rhyme scheme is broken.
The poem is not on a bank's withdrawal slip,
And it's typed, not written.
and it was delivered before the prank.
I'm gonna get a watch, but I haven't had the time. Maybe I could do that now.
Something else. The other poems were kind of yeah, you know? This one is a warning, an incredible explosion. I mean, he could have said an incredible blast. That would have rhymed.
He did this on purpose, for some reason.
Something else about this. In the other poems, he named the bank.
But look at this. Mutual. There's a mutual savings bank on La Cienega.
There sure as heck is. Co's the feeling is mutual savings. And look at this. I'm tired of holding.
A Holding Co. George.
All right, call Sam and Steevn and have them meet me at the bank as soon as possible. I've got to get out of here. Math, frankly.
George, now take it easy. I want you to know I'm calm. I'm rational.
What is it, Kate? I'm hot on the trail.
I saw Raymond Stickler wiring dynamite to another clock.
I'm sure you did, Kate.
George, it was my clock.
Kate, you can always get another clock. I've really got to...
George, he was using wires. You don't use wires in a mechanical clock. It has to be dynamite.
Come on, Kate.
He left his apartment about 2 minutes ago. Now, I want you to get a search warrant and go over that place while he's gone.
Kate, I have got a lead that is going to crack the bank prank tape, and I...
Bank prank. I've got a neighbor who's building bombs, and you're running around after a prankster.
Goodbye, Kate. I'll be there as soon as I can. Someone once said to me, show me how to make a left-hand turn on Wilshire Boulevard at high noon, and I'll buy you a house in the country. I knew what he meant. Traffic's always worse when you're in a hurry. That's why I like TV cops better than real-life cops. There's never any traffic and always a place to park. Sorry, what's going on?
Everybody who went in the bank is still there, George.
Has anyone come out?
Now, one alleged perpetrator.
Let's go. Excuse me, Oh, Mr. Sticker.
How do you do, Mr. Franklin? Excuse me, I'm in a bit of a hurry. Good day.
Mr. Coe? Everybody freeze! George Franklin, MathNet! Sam, did you see the man that just left the bank?
Yes.
Arrest him.
What for?
Attempting to blow up a bank.
Control.
Mr. Franklin, this is highly unusual.
It certainly is. Where did that grandfather clock come from, Mr. Coe?
Oh, I don't know. Many customers sent presents on the occasion of our 50th birthday. Why do you wish to know?
It's a bomb, that's why. Stand back!
Can I do anything, Mr. Franklin?
Is there a back door?
Yes?
Ask your friends to use it and leave.
Quiet. Use the back door and leave quietly.
Kate was right. These counterweights are really sticks of dynamite. I'll have to remove them. Counterweights. These aren't the sticks of dynamite. They're just parts of the clock. I don't get it.
You mean it's not a bomb?
Well, if I took the weights off the clock, how come the clock is still working? Plastique. Detonated by an electrical impulse. That's your bomb, Mr. Coe. Plastic bomb. Set to be exploded by an electrical charge. When Grandpa struck 12.
We got him, George.
Did you read him his rights?
Yes, but I don't think he understood them.
Raymond Sticker.
Hello, Poe. What do you know? You just about went to Tokyo.
You know this man?
Yes, I do.
I should say he does. You put me out of business. I vowed to get back at you, didn't I, holding Co?
Years ago, Sticker came to me for a loan to finance a stupid invention of his.
Stupid! Ha! That's what you say.
What was it?
A perpetual clock. A clock that would run forever.
You didn't lend him the money?
Of course not. The clock lost about 5 minutes every hour.
Yes, but it did it forever.
Let me ask you something, Sticker. Why did you prank Mr. Coe's banks in that pattern?
What pattern?
The first bank had assets of 10 million plus. The second had about 20, the third about 30, and so on. My partner figured it out.
Just a coincidence. I didn't even know there was a pattern.
Well, Mr. Poet, the time for bank pranking is past.
Yes, but I'll still be able to enjoy one last blast.
Take him away, boy.
What do you suppose he meant by that? One last blast.
I don't know. The man is obviously a little bit cuckoo. He...
Hey! George, there's a bomb attached to my door. George! George, stop!
Hey! It's me! I'm coming in!
No! George, there's a bomb in here with me. It's wired to the door. If you pull it open, it will set the bomb off. Don't open the door.
Good point. I'll get a ladder and come over the balcony. Don't worry, Kate.
George, there's no time. It's also set to a digital countdown clock that will go off in 1 minute, 13 seconds.
Boy, Raymond thought of everything.
George, get out of the building before it's too late.
No! We can think of something.
George, please, you've got the rest of your life in front of you. Get out while you can.
Kate! Is the wire taut or slack?
Who cares?
Answer me!
It's slack.
So if I open the door, it tightens the wire and sets off the bomb?
I think that's how it works.
I studied this kind of demolition in math at school, Kate.
That's nice, George. Get out of here.
If we can keep the wire slack while I open the door...
There's only 48 seconds left.
Kate! Wind the propeller on the model plane.
What?
Do it!
George, get out. I love working with you, but get out.
Is it round?
Yes.
Throw it at the clock.
What?
Do it, Kate! Gosh darn it!
on the floor.
Plenty of time left, Pard. No sweat.
Kate's coming in this morning.
That's what she said. Her sawbones put her on crutches and gave her a big A-OK.
George, did Kate ever tell you how she hurt her knee?
Sure didn't.
Good luck, Kate.
Thanks, Sam. Kate, you look great.
Hi, my friend. I feel so much better.
Hi, Pard. How's the wheel?
Every day and every way, George.
What's that smell? It smells like perfume.
I completely forgot. It's a note I got in Monday's episode. Forgot to read it.
What?
Who's sending you perfume letters, George?
Martha. She says, see if Debbie and Kate would like to come by for dinner
When?
last Tuesday. Could you have made it?
Raymond Sticker was tried and convicted of a 313.13, vandalizing a bank that is bigger than a bread box, and a 719.5, trying to blow up a bank so it will be smaller than a bread box. During the trial held in and for the County of Los Angeles, the defendant stated,
I gave you the clues all in rhyme. I thought that idea sublime. But you used clever math to cross up my path, and now I will have to do time.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Monday, 9:43 a.m., and the underwater pumpkin carving contest was continuing offshore near Santa Monica. Angelina's waiting for the winner to be announced with hysterical apathy. I was working the day watch out of MathNet. The boss is Thad Green. My partner is George Frankley. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician.
That you, Kate?
Uh-huh.
I'm on the floor, Kate. You know, under the desk.
Sure thing. You lose something, George?
Yes. How'd you know?
Just a guess.
I dropped my... Oh! Here it is.
Don't bump your head again.
Pencil. I dropped it.
Uh-huh. Happened to me once.
Aren't you going to ask me how my weekend was, Kate?
George, why don't you ever ask me about my weekends? I ask you about your weekends.
Gee, I'm sorry, Kate. How was your weekend, Kate?
Terrific. Thanks, George.
Mine, too. Martha and I, we went to Disneyland, Kate. Did you know that Mickey Mouse is more than 50 years old? I mean, can you imagine wearing a mouse suit for 50 years?
Sorry to interrupt, mathematicians.
Hi, Bill. The chief said you'd be coming by.
He didn't say it to me.
Got to tell you, chief said robbery division was shorthanded and needed some help. Is that about it, Bill?
You got an A+ on that one, Kate.
A+. I got one once. It was in Metal Shop. Well, I made a planter.
There's been an unusual series of holdups in the valley, and there seems to be a pattern to some of them. Patterns fall into your bailiwick, crime-wise.
What kind of patterns?
We're not sure, but 4 weeks ago, 6 Linguini tire stores were knocked over.
Knocked over? That's vandalism.
Robbed.
3 weeks ago, somebody robbed 4 Sawdust Burger stores.
Sawdust burgers.
Well, there's new fast food outlets.
Martha and I eat there all the time. Sawdust Burgers. Home of the big board. Over 127 sold. The crepes are great.
2 weeks ago, they robbed 5 hair salons, Coiffes or Us. Last week, it was a chain of gas stations.
Which gas stations?
Those self-serve stations. Fill up, pay up, and get out. These robberies are in addition to the regular robberies, break-ins, and purse snatchings.
Are the robberies related, Bill?
That's why we've come to you. We appreciate you helping us out, mathematicians.
Sure thing.
We'll get right on it, Bill.
MathNet, frankly. I see. No, you should call the robbery division. No problem. Wrong extension. The manager of a gas station wanted to be part of robbery. Gosh darn it.
MathNet Monday. No, you've got the right extension. What's the problem? Uh-huh. And your location? We'll be right there. What's that? The SPCA? No, sir, you've made the right choice. We'll handle it. Yes, sir, I'm Kate Monday. This is my partner, George.
Frankly. And you are?
I am.
Your name, sir?
It's Boyce.
First name or last name?
First.
Got a last?
Choice.
Boy's choice?
You got it.
When did the robbery occur, Mr. Choice?
About 12:45.
You positive?
I said about.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us what happened?
Like I said, about 12:45, a man comes up to me at the register.
What kind of car was he driving?
See, that's when I should have started getting suspicious. He didn't have a car, and he wore a mask.
What did he say?
He asked me if I sold gasoline gift certificates.
Gift certificates?
Yeah, he said he had a friend who was a shut-in. I turned around, next thing I knew, he had a gun on me, told me to open the till and give him all the money.
And?
And I did. He got all of it, $3,000.
Anything else?
Not really. Well, there was one thing.
Yes, sir.
That's why I wondered if I should have called the SPCA, you know, the animal shelter people.
Sir?
He talked like a duck.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Tuesday, 9:43 a.m., and the high winds which had been playing havoc with the surfboard and debating tournament finally died down. I was working the day watch out of MathNet. The boss is Thad Green. My partner is George Frankley. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician. A series of robberies have been taking place in the San Fernando Valley. We were asked to help out LAPD's crack robbery division. Chains of tire stores, hair salons, fast food outlets, and gas stations have been decimated in the last month. We had to stop this insidious criminal activity. We decided to take a look at a couple of scenes, courtesy yesterday's show, to get us thinking again.
There's been an unusual series of holdups in the valley, and there seems to be a pattern to some of them.
We decided to talk with a recent victim, the manager of a fill-up, pay-up, and get-out gas station.
I turned around, next thing I knew he had a gun on me. Told me to open the till and give him all the money.
And?
And I did. He got all of it, $3,000.
Anything else?
Not really. Well, there was one thing.
Yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
That's why I wondered if I should have called the SPCA. You know, the animal shelter people?
Sir?
He talked like a duck.
Morning, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Morning, math netters. Just going over the facts?
Actually, George was just asking me about my weekend.
Oh, was he?
We were just chewing the fat, Kate.
Don't let me interrupt.
Actually, we were looking into those robberies, Kate. They're massive.
In what sense?
I totaled the monies that have been stolen so far. They add up to more than $100,000.
How many robberies have there been?
21, Kate.
Let's see, $100,000? That's an average of about $5,000 per robbery.
And it looks like there is some sort of pattern.
Mostly, he seems to rob one type of store and then stop and move on to another type of store.
If it is one man, we don't know that.
True. One person could have robbed the tire stores, somebody else robbed the fast food places, and somebody else could have knocked over the hair salons.
Debbie, can you go through these robbery reports and build up a database on your computer?
Sure, but what kinds of questions do you want answered? A computer is only as good as the people who use it, math netters.
Well, how about who were the robbers?
Be specific.
Okay. Was there always one robber?
Was it a male or female?
Right. Was he or she always dressed the same?
Did he wear a mask?
Did he always flash a gat?
You mean did he show the victims a gun?
Yes.
Did he or she always walk away from a robbery?
Is that enough to start with, Debbie?
We should also find out when, where, and how the robberies were committed. I'll see what we can put together.
George, I've been thinking. If this is one person who's committing these crimes, we can expect him to rob another gas station. He's hit 3 already.
I was thinking the same thing, Kate. I checked, and there are 2 more fill-up, pay-up, and get-out stations in the valley that weren't robbed. Maybe we ought to stake them out.
Good idea. Wait, where are they?
One is in Pasadena, Colorado, and Fair Oaks, and the other's in Chatsworth on Devonshire.
We'll take Pasadena and get Sam and Steve to stake out Chatsworth.
Oh, can we switch those assignments?
Sure. Why?
Well, if we go to Chatsworth, I can pick up my shirts.
Sam and Steve staked out the Pasadena station and waited. When you're trying to solve a problem, any problem, patience is often a virtue. George and I went to Chatsworth to wait. We stopped for George's shirts, but they weren't ready.
Sure is a lot of sitting in this job, Kate.
Say that again. We've been here 3 hours.
There's always the possibility that this station will get robbed.
Right.
Well, I sure hope our station gets robbed before Sam and Steve's. Martha and I want to go to the Flickers tonight.
What are you going to see?
A movie. Kate, look.
Come on, partner. This is it.
You want what? You heard me. Give it to me. You've got to be kidding.
Freeze! Mathematicians.
Take it easy and nobody's going to get hurt. Get your hands on that gas pump.
What's the big idea?
Do as he says. George, frisk him.
He's clean, Kate.
What are you people doing?
Trying to keep you from being robbed.
Robbed? He wasn't going to rob me, were you? Oh, of course not. I just asked him if I could borrow a jack handle. I got a flat tire about a block from here, and I lost my jack handle.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, sir. We made a mistake.
I understand.
11 Adam 12, map. Excuse us.
Must be Sam and Steve.
Excuse me.
11 Adam 12, Net, come in.
Monday, come in. Sam, Steve.
Kate, it's Sam.
Did they hit your station?
Not exactly. How about yours?
Nothing. Why are you calling?
I just got a report on something that may interest you.
What is it?
A 10-4 convenience store just got robbed.
That happens a lot, Sam. So what?
The guy sounded like a duck.
Yeah, well, you can take your jack handle and...
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Wednesday, 9:43 a.m., and the sun had burned off the early morning clouds, leaving nothing but smog to blanket the greater Los Angeles area. I was working the day watch out of Math Night, and we were trying to solve a robbery epidemic which had hit the San Fernando Valley. The boss is Thad Green. My partner is George Franklin. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. The chief export of Idaho is potatoes. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician. In the past month, one group at a time, the following types of stores had been robbed. Tire stores, fast food stores, hair salons, gas stations. We decided to try and get our facts in order and hoped looking at a couple of scenes from yesterday's show would help.
I totaled the monies that have been stolen so far, and they add up to more than $100,000.
How many robberies have there been?
21, Kate. And it looks like there is some sort of pattern.
Mostly, he seems to rob one type of store and then move on to another type of store.
If there is one man. We don't know that.
True. One man could have robbed the tire stores, and somebody else could have knocked over the hair salons.
Debbie, can you go through these robbery reports and build up a database on your computer? While Debbie began to build a database of information, I got an idea. George, I've been thinking. If this is one person who is committing these crimes, we can expect that he'll rob another gas station. He's hit 3 already.
I was thinking the same thing, Kate.
We learned that there were 2 fill-up, pay-up, and get-out gas stations in the valley which hadn't been robbed. George and I watched one, and Sam and Steve staked out the other. The surveillance proved to be a waste of time, but we had to try and prove our hypothesis. Then we got a call from Sam that broke the
I
pattern.
just got a report on something that may interest you.
What is it?
A 10-4 convenience store just got robbed.
That happens a lot, Sam. So what?
The guy sounded like a duck.
A duck?
Uh-huh.
I don't care if he sounded like a rhinoceros. I want this case broken.
Yes, sir.
Let me know.
As soon as we get something, sir.
The chief?
Uh-huh. He wants those robberies solved.
The chief is like a guy with a shirt collar that's too small.
Uh-huh. Under a lot of pressure.
Well, Math Netters, I've started a database from your questions. Let me show you what I've got so far.
Are we in for a canine and equine presentation?
Dog and pony show.
Well, take a look at these printouts. Most of the 21 robberies, 22 including the 10-4 store yesterday, were done between 12:30 and 1, and only 1 robbery per day.
Get that information from the robbery reports, Debbie?
Mm-hmm. It was all there. Just had to organize it.
You said most of them. What about the other robberies?
They fall into a time pattern, too. 22 robberies. 15 were done between 12:30 and 1. 4 were done between 4:30 and 5 p.m. And the other 3 were at night, between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m.
I don't know what that information means, Debbie.
Kate, I'm just looking for patterns. If you want specific information, you have to ask me specific questions.
Thought your computer was all-knowing, Debbie.
George, I told you in yesterday's episode, a computer is only as good as the people who use it.
Just kidding, Debbie. Cheese and crackers.
I do know that the robberies committed between 12:30 and 1 were all done during the week, Monday through Friday.
What about the other 4 committed between 4:30 and 5?
All on Saturday. The other 3 were at different times.
Do you have any idea whether it was one person or more than one?
Most of the victims said it was a man who robbed them. They also said the man was wearing a sport coat, slacks, and a mask.
Same coat and slacks?
No, but they had one thing in common. Polyester.
Polyester?
Polyester, you know, Kate. Material that my good clothes are made out of.
Debbie, did the victims talk about the robber's voice?
As a matter of fact, some did. 16 said it sounded strange.
Like a duck?
Some said duck. Some said it sounded like a chicken. Some said a turkey. But most said duck.
What about the other 6?
They didn't mention anything about the voice.
Nothing at all?
It wasn't in the report, so I called them.
And they said?
They didn't mention anything about the voice because no one asked them about the voice.
What?
Like I said, if you want an answer to a question, the only way to be sure to get that answer is to ask the question.
You're right, Debbie. But what did the 6 say when you asked the question about the voice?
3 said it sounded like a duck.
Uh-huh. I see.
3 said it was a normal voice.
So, let's play What Do We Know?
Okay. Let's take a look at Debbie's printouts. We know that there have been 22 robberies.
We know 15 were committed between 12:30 and 1, Monday through Friday.
And 4 were committed on Saturdays between 4:30 and 5.
And 3 were committed at night. And I just thought of something.
What?
What?
The managers of the 3 stores that were robbed at night are the 3 who said the robber talked in a normal voice.
You mean somebody else could have robbed those stores?
Let's concentrate on the other subset. We know that those 19 robberies were done by someone wearing fashions like George's and who talks like a duck.
Right. Let's look for a few more common denominators.
Common denominator theory is a good one, Debbie. What do a tire company, hair salons, fast food chain, gas stations, and convenience stores share?
Not much right off the top. Debbie, maybe you can add some information about those companies to your database.
What questions?
Maybe they're owned by the same big company.
Or maybe they use common suppliers. You know, cleaning services, insurance companies, gardeners, advertising.
Or maybe they all use the same office supplies or accountants or lawyers.
Now I've got something to work with. I'll get right on it.
Take a look at these, Kate.
Locations of the robberies?
Yes. Plus other locations.
I don't follow you.
Something I was thinking about last night while Martha and I were at the Bel Air.
The Bel Air Hotel?
Uh-huh. We stopped in for a late repast after the theater.
Oh, what'd you see?
A play. Look, Kate, the blue dots with the X's are where the 6 Linguini tire stores were robbed.
Uh-huh.
But look at these blue dots. These are other Linguini tire stores. How come they weren't robbed?
What do you mean?
Well, they're in the valley. Why these and not those?
I don't know.
These are the fast food stores that were held up. Here are about 10 more that weren't. I think the same pattern may hold true with the hair salons, too.
You keep plotting, George. I want to see a man about a duck.
Right.
While George checked for similarities in the robberies and Debbie compiled lists of commonalities, I continued to wonder who might talk like a duck. I decided it might be what is called a voice actor, the people who make voices for cartoon shows. I paid a visit to an actors' union in Hollywood.
Oh, welcome to GAG. May I be of service?
Aren't they ahead of me?
Yes, but they're actors. What can I do for you?
I'm Kate Monday, MathNet. I'm a mathematician.
Well, we haven't had much call for mathematicians since Add 'em Up went off the air.
I'm not here about a job. I wonder, could you tell me how many actors GAG represents?
Yes, GAG represents more than 113,000.
I didn't realize there were 113,000 actors in this town.
There aren't.
This may sound like a strange question, but is there some way you could consult your computer or your files or something?
Certainly.
Wait, I haven't asked you about the information yet.
Of course. How busy of me.
How many of the 113,000 actors you represent can do the voice of a duck?
I don't need a computer for that. 113,000. And 3.
Well, thank you. Break some legs.
Any suspects?
113,000. How about you?
All these companies have one more thing in common. Their employees all wear uniforms, and they're all from the same uniform service, Stay Pressed Unis.
I'll call them. Wouldn't the probability of all those companies taking from the same service be very low? Maybe the drivers. Hello, sir. Kate Monday, MathNet. My size? I'm an 8, but... No, you don't understand. I don't want to rent a uniform. I have one. I'm placing a call to your service with regards to some recent robberies. In talking with the Stay Pressed Uni Company, I learned that the probability of all the companies using the same service was very high. It was 1. In other words, it was the only uniform company that serviced the valley. No help, Debbie. Did you find out anything else?
Uh-huh. They all use the same vendor service. You know, the coffee truck that furnishes coffee breaks?
That might give us something.
Not really. It's the same man who's had the same route servicing the same companies for over 5 years.
If he were the culprit, everyone would recognize him.
Right. I have one more call to make about another possibility.
They all checked out, Kate. Every one of these chains had stores in the valley that weren't robbed.
Let's figure out what this could mean, George.
Thank you. At last, we may really have something, math folks.
What, Debbie?
Take a look at this printout.
What is it?
These are some common denominators of our robbed stores.
I see. George, look.
They all use the same uniform company.
Right, but that doesn't help. Stay Press is the only uniform company that services the valley.
They use a variety of cleaners.
Right, and they do use the same coffee service, but they all know the driver. Let's look at where they advertise.
They all advertise in newspapers.
Yes, but different newspapers. Times, Chronicle.
Look at their radio advertising.
They all advertise on radio.
True, but they all advertise on one station. K-Yuck.
Interesting.
That's what I thought. So I got a copy of K-Yuck's program schedule. Look at this. This is K-Yuck's Monday through Friday lineup. And this is Saturdays.
They seem to advertise all over the schedule.
But look at this. Every one of them advertises on one show, the Vile Duke Show.
My golly, you're right, Debbie. They advertise on Vile Duke during the week. And on Saturdays, too.
Yes. And here's something else I found, MathNetters.
What?
I just talked to the manager of the station and learned something very interesting. I discovered every one of those companies canceled their advertising just before they were robbed.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Thursday, 9:43 a.m., and everyone in Los Angeles was looking forward to the LA Rams' new football season, except the people who lived around Anaheim Stadium and the Rams. I was working the day watch out of MathNet. The boss is Thad Green. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My partner is George Frankley. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician. We've been trying to solve a string of robberies that have been taking place in the San Fernando Valley. We'd been down an awful lot of blind alleys, but we kept at it. We decided to look at a few of those alleys from yesterday's show to refresh our think tanks.
So, let's play What Do We Know?
Okay. We know that there have been 22 robberies.
We know 15 were committed between 12:30 and 1, Monday through Friday.
And 4 were committed on Saturdays between 4:30 and 5.
We know that those 19 robberies were done by someone wearing fashions like George's and who talked like a duck.
Right. Let's look for a few more common denominators. Look at their radio advertising.
They all advertise on radio.
True, but they all advertise on one station. K-Yuck.
Interesting.
That's what I thought. So I got a copy of K-Yuck's program schedule. Look at this. This is K-Yuck's Monday through Friday lineup. And this is Saturdays.
They seem to advertise all over the schedule.
But look at this. Every one of them advertises on one show, the Vile Dupe Show.
My golly, you're right, Debbie. They advertise on Vile Dupe during the week and on Saturdays, too.
Yes. And here's something else I found, Mathnetters.
What?
I just talked to the manager of the station and learned something very interesting. I discovered every one of those companies canceled their advertising just before they were robbed.
George and I decided to pay a visit to the radio station, a small 250-watt plant in Burbank. Wild Dupe was an acerbic talk show host who insulted his audience most of the time, but for some reason seemed to be quite popular.
You ever heard him? Wild Dupe, I mean?
Just about him.
He's a pistol. He's always yelling at his callers, calling them dopey nincompoops, hanging up on them. Yes, sir. A real pistol.
You like him, eh, George?
Can't stand him.
Why do you listen to him?
I can't help it. Our right-side neighbor, Mr. Beasley, listens to him all the time and leaves his windows open.
We were told Mr. Dupe was on the air, and were instructed to wait for him in the hallway.
You what? Well, that's the most asinine thing these radio ears have ever heard. You're obviously a commie pinko fellow traveler, and your so-called friends would do the world a service if they put hamburger in your socks and lock you up in a kennel with a Siamese cat. Back to more calls in a moment.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dupe. I'm Kate Monday. This is my partner, George.
Frankly.
MathNet, huh? You look like a real estate salesman.
Yes, sir. I wonder if we could ask you a few questions.
Sure. I'm in a commercial break now. What do you want?
We noticed a number of your sponsors have quit lately.
Worms. They're a bunch of worms.
Yes, but something strange has happened to all of them since they quit your show, Mr. Dupe.
Oh, their sales fall way off?
No, sir. They were robbed.
Good. It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of yellow-bellied wastrels.
You don't know why they stopped sponsoring your program, do you, Mr. Dupe?
I know what the gutless traitors told me.
What?
That I was too controversial, little babies.
We think a man with your attitude might want to get back at those sponsors.
It's ridiculous. I don't need those fleas. I'm doing just fine.
We don't think so, Mr. Dupe.
Well, then you don't think?
We think you had reason to rob those stores, Mr. Dupe.
Impossible. I was on the air when those places were robbed.
We didn't say what time the robberies occurred, Mr. Dupe.
I read it in the papers.
It was never printed in the papers, Mr. Dupe.
Listen, Nosebleed, I heard about it somewhere. When were the robberies?
Most were between 12:30 and 1 p.m.
I'm on the air between 12 and 4 every day.
Some of the robberies were on Saturdays, Mr. Dupe.
What time?
Between 4:30 and 5 p.m.
Saturdays, I'm on the air from 4 to 8 p.m. Look, Featherbrains, you got the wrong man. Now, why don't you float out of here?
Thank you for your time, Mr. Dupe.
What's on your so-called mind, noodle noggin?
Kate, look at this.
That's our coverage map.
Coverage map?
The shaded areas where our station can be heard clearly.
Kate, looks a lot like my map.
I can give you a copy of it if you like. Our sales staff uses it to sell advertisers.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, has Mr. Dupe been on the air during his regular time period?
I beg your pardon?
I mean, has been on vacation or taken a leave of absence during the last month or so?
Oh, no, he's been here all the time. He takes his vacation at the same time every year and goes to the same place.
When and where is that?
The last 2 weeks of December, he goes on a religious retreat.
I had the people in graphics make up KUC's coverage area on this overlay. Oh, look. All but 3 of the robberies fall within that coverage area. And those 3 don't follow the time or voice pattern. Dupe has got to be our man.
I think so too, George. But he's got an ironclad alibi.
I got the background on File Dupe you asked for, Math Matters.
What did you find, Debbie?
He used to be a pretty big star in radio. He had a network call-in show and made a lot of money in the 1950s.
How did he end up on a little station in the San Fernando Valley?
He's always been controversial. One day he was on the air with a member of the DAR, and he called George Washington a communist.
Got fired?
Mm-hmm. Then he kicked around local radio, going to smaller and smaller stations. Nobody wanted to take a chance on him, even though he always got big audiences.
He's quite a story.
And get this, know what he did in the late 1940s?
Uh-uh.
He had a children's radio show.
A children's show? My goodness.
Mm-hmm. It was in Schenectady. And it was called Dopey Duck and the Lake Patrol.
He did a duck voice?
Yep. And if it sounds like a duck?
And it looks like a duck.
It's got to be our duck.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Friday, 9:43 a.m., and the local TV weathermen were reporting high winds at low tide. They were wrong. I was working the day watch out of MathNet. The boss is Thad Green. Head of our computer division is Debbie Williams. My partner is George Franklin. The last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series was 1908. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician. We've been working on a very strange mystery. 22 robberies have been committed in the San Fernando Valley. We hypothesized that most of them had been done by the same person and that that person talked like, of all things, a duck. All the evidence pointed to a radio talk show host named File Dupe. We decided to look at a few scenes from yesterday's episode to try and jar our memories.
We noticed a number of your sponsors have quit lately.
Worms. They're a bunch of worms.
Yes, but something strange has happened to all of them since they quit your show, Mr. Dupe.
Oh, their sales fall way off?
No, sir. They were robbed.
Good. It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of yellow-bellied wastrels.
You don't know why they stopped sponsoring your program, do you, Mr. Dupe?
I know what the gutless traitors told me.
What?
Said I was too controversial, little babies.
We think a man with your attitude might want to get back at those sponsors.
That's ridiculous. I don't need those fleas. I'm doing just fine.
We don't think so, Mr. Dupe.
Well, then you don't think.
We think you had reason to rob those stores, Mr. Dupe.
Impossible. I was on the air when those places were robbed.
We didn't say what time the robberies occurred, Mr. Dupe. Everything continued to point to Bile Dupe, even though he had a seemingly ironclad alibi. Then Debbie dug up even more evidence.
And get this. Know what he did in the late 1940s? He had a children's radio show.
A children's show? My goodness.
It was in Schenectady. And it was called Dopey Duck and the Lake Patrol.
He did a duck voice?
Yep. And if it sounds like a duck...
And it looks like a duck.
It's got to be our duck.
Kate, here's something we missed. You know, didn't catch? Look, there's one 10-4 store in the advertising area that hasn't been robbed. When Bile goes for it, we'll be there to nab him.
Come on, George. You don't think Bile Dupe would rob that store now?
Why not?
He knows we're watching him, George. He wouldn't try anything that foolish.
Kate, if he's our man, and we're sure he is, he thinks he's got a foolproof way of committing these robberies.
Our problem is, he's right.
That's exactly what I mean. Bile Dupe has an ego a mile high, a perfect alibi, and an MO that works. He'll surely try to knock this one over.
I don't know, George.
The chief wants to know if you're getting anywhere in the Valley robberies, Mapnetters.
We're getting closer, Bill.
Good. That's what I just told the 6 o'clock evening news. I said we'll have a report for you in a few days.
My watch slow?
I beg pardon?
How did you give a news report for the evening news when it's 9:48 a.m.?
I taped it. They'll play it later. And let me know if I can help.
We will.
He taped it. Of course. Bile put a tape on his radio show and then robbed the stores. Why not?
Why not? He does a live phone-in show.
What do you mean?
He's getting live phone calls. How does he put a tape in?
Well, he... Oh, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it.
So, what do we do?
I'm going to call our audio lab. And you call the manager of the 10-4 store, which hasn't been robbed.
While George put a call through to the audio lab, I talked with the 10-4 manager and told him we thought his store might be next. He agreed to help us out and gave us his complete cooperation.
Well, partner?
Let's roll.
Thank you, sir. Everything all right, Kate?
I guess so. Time to tune into your favorite show and mine, George.
From near the heart to the left of the kidney, smack dab in the liver of the valley, it's live, 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 the Bile Dupe Show. And here he is, the controversial, the outrageous, the irrepressible Bile Dupe.
I'm Bile Dupe, and you're a lop-eared meatball. What's on your mind, caller?
I left my heart in San Francisco.
That was very careless of you. So what? You expect me to go up there and poke around Fisherman's Wharf with a
May I help you?
handful of soybeans?
I hope so. I'm looking for a 1937 Packard.
A 1937 Packard? A car? This is a convenience store, sir.
I know that. Don't you have cars?
Of course not.
Oh. Then I'll have a Clark bar.
I suggest unrequited love is a bore. Leave well enough alone. Go ahead, you valley zany. What's your subject?
I'm concerned about animals' rights.
Yeah. Go on, you bleeding heart.
I think animals should be allowed to drive cars, especially small dogs.
Would you like to tell me why, you dim bulb?
George, think we need any more boxes of instant Brussels sprouts?
Kate, listen.
Well, there are lots of small dogs that it would make it easier for them to, cross the streets.
What is it?
Lyle is going to say, I've heard of dog lovers, but you're ridiculous.
I've heard of dog lovers, but you're ridiculous.
I don't get it.
I heard that same call through Mr. Beasley's open window about a year ago.
Then you're right.
Yep. He records all his shows, and he replays an old tape, sneaks out of his station, and says, Don't shoot. Take the money.
We interrupt the Bile Dupe show for this special announcement. Bile Dupe, popular talk show loudmouth, is at this very moment robbing a 10-4 convenience store at the corner of Tahunga and Moore Park. At this very moment, he is saying, now he's waving his gun and saying, as Bile backs out, thinking of an escape, he is confronted by two ever-vigilant LAPD officers.
I've been had.
That's the truth.
Never thought I'd be caught by a couple of mathematicians.
Never underestimate the power of logical thinking, Bile. But there is one thing.
Yeah?
Why did you talk like a duck when you robbed your sponsors?
My voice is so distinctive, so wonderful, I was afraid I'd be recognized.
Well, it worked. For a while.
My fine feathered friend.
Bile Dupe was convicted of a 211 armed robbery and holding up a convenience store at an inconvenient time. He has been locked away in a state penitentiary where, when last heard, he was a disc jockey on the local prison radio station, KJAIL. KJAIL, serving the captive audience for 7 to 10 years.